Hey everyone, it is Valentine's Day. That explains the makeup and the done hair because my husband's making dinner for me, and once I'm done with this we're gonna have a nice snuggle up and a nice meal and just enjoy a movie and quiet Valentine's Day at home. But right now I'm here with all of you and I'm really excited about it because it's been an interesting week here in my studio. I haven't been able to be down here much. We had some flood work done because I had a little leak that runs under my work table, and it was kind of like having an unpredictable stream in the middle of my studio. So that's being repaired in a couple days, but in the meanwhile they had to come down here and move everything around, and as you can see there's a lot back here. That's a lot of moving. So now tonight we're going to have some fun with gilding and with mica powders and different kinds of metal leaf. I promised to show you all kinds of fun stuff. Those of you who are watching me work on my little nightstand noticed I had Japanese silver leaf that I used on the front of the table, and I used it on the glass. Well, I got kind of addicted to that leaf, and it's very temperamental and very brittle. So I thought I best make sure that I had lots of different colors. Now I can see somebody's on here, but I'm going to make sure I can actually see what all of you are doing. I'm not sure why this is a challenge, so give me a moment. Let me see if that does anything. No. Nope, it didn't do a thing. Let me turn it this way, maybe? Every once in a while, if you switch things around, okay, it won't let me do certain things. So, once again, when this does crazy stuff and I can't see your questions, it's not that I'm ignoring you, it's that I can't get the feed on my phone for some reason. My phone does weird things. Every once in a while I can see stuff, sometimes I can't. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, we're in with the silvered leaf. Now, like I said, I got a little bit addicted the other day when I was using that blue Japanese silver leaf that I had gotten in New York when I was there for Salon. So the first thing I did was go hunting silver leaf, Japanese silver colored leaf online, and it's not as easy to find. Hi, Rayma! Oh yay, I can actually see comments now. I'm excited. It fixed itself. I went and searched Japanese colored silver leaf to find out where I can find it, and believe it or not, it's not all that easy to find. Most of it's either in Japan or in the UK. We don't have a huge number of suppliers of it here in the US. I'm sure there's plenty of suppliers that I might have missed, but I actually, first thing I did was I found Gold Leaf Supplies in the UK, and I bought all of their little sample packets. I had like 4 of them. One's got colored silver sample pack with light resistant colors, with dyed colors, with pastel colors, and with marbled colors. Now, there's a difference between some of these. These light resistant colors actually have an additional coating on them to make them more light fast so that you don't have the colors fade on them. That does make them a little more brittle, but oh my God, they're all beautiful. Now, if you don't need light resistance, if this is not going to be sitting under a window, you don't need to worry about that. My nightstand is in a corner in my bedroom. I have no idea if that leaf that I used was light resistant or not. It didn't say so. It's sitting in a corner that doesn't get direct sunlight, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. And then once I found them, as typical as I do, then I found a vendor for them in, where are they? They're out of San Ramon, California. And this is a gal who brings in the colors directly from Japan. So I bought a couple of books of 10. Now these the packets come in packets of 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100. She has some stacks, and it's not cheap. Colored silver leaf is quite pricey. It runs larger than real gold leaf, but it is expensive because it's silver leaf that's been specially treated. So what I thought I'd do is, because I haven't really looked at them, I'd open some of these with you. So let's look at the colored marble. This is sort of like somebody who opens, their bark box. Well, my bark boxes are sample packs of art supplies, and I'm kind of addicted to them. Doesn't want to open. It's wrapped up really tightly. All right, so this is my sample pack, and they sent full sheets, and I actually have to cut it because I don't know if you can see, they tied it up with a thread so that these leaves would stay nice and tidy in the shipping, which is, coming from the UK, that's kind of important. And they have, this is, I think, marbled colors. So what you're gonna see is different colors. Like that's a bronze. I'm not gonna pull them all out because you can see sort of a pink marble. Look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh. There's a green marble, and there's about 10 different colors. I suggest, if you'd like to check this out, you go to their website, which is, because I moved all the packaging, it is Gold Leaf Supply. Where is it? goldleafsupply.co.uk. Again, they are a European company. Oh yeah, never saw a multicolored leaf. Well, this is specific. Hi Suzanne, thanks for coming in with us. This is specifically marble colored silver leaf. This is not variegated gold leaf or composition variegated gold leaf, which we'll get into later, but this is my new package. I'm like all excited about my goodies. So I'm gonna put that one back in the container. I'm sure you don't care to watch me fold everything up, but I'm gonna do it anyway because hell, I just had all this stuff come all the way from England and I don't want to lose it. So that was marble colored silver leaf. And let's see, they have pastels. Pastels. You don't see pastels. I know, there are not a ton of these colors. There was only, I think, 5 or 6, but it was pastels. You don't see pastel metallics. Oh my God, I'm so excited. You can hear me, I'm like a little kid unwrapping Christmas presents. And again, nice way that they wrapped it up with a thread to keep it from shifting around in the shipping. Okay, let's see how pastel these pastels are. Put that down. There is, come on. Ooh. Well, that is a pearl one, and that shows you how, oh gosh, I can't even catch it. There is sort of a pearl colored one. I don't think you can see it because it's flipping on my hand. I was flipping this open trying to catch this up. There we go, there's the pearl. And it is pearl. It's not silver, it's pearl. And obviously you saw from the way I was flipping around, this is really, really brittle. So I think maybe I'd better handle it a little more gently. Let's see. There is a pale yellow, and actually part of it you can see stuck to the backing page. So this is super, super brittle stuff. And there's a pink and I think a pale blue in here. So I'm very excited about that, but I think I will set that aside. Use it a little more carefully than I'm doing right now. Preferably not flipping it around so it's flying in my studio and not landing on a project. That was not good. And let's see. Okay, I'm back. And then there's the die pack, which is silver leaf covered with a colored dye to make the leaf actually have these deep, bold, rich colors, and like I said, the light resistant. So I got 4 of those from, again, Gold Leaf Supply Company. I know I'm going to hold this up. I will put it, hard to watch me in baseball. I'm cuter than the baseball players, and I give you more fun information. I know, all you baseball people. I'm going to put this up. I know it's going to be very hard for you to read backwards. I will also put this in the comments below so you have the correct information. The company again is goldleafsupplies.com, co.uk. I'm sorry, not .com. Let me do that correctly. goldleafsupply.co.uk. English company. I had this sent. I got to tell you, it got here in under a week. I was massively impressed with how fast it got to me. So, like I said, I got my little samples, and those are going to be a lot of fun. I got one leaf of each color, so there may be some interesting multicolor projects coming up. And then these are my colors that I ordered and were sent to me from a Japanese company that's based in California. And if you look at these, I know it's very hard for you to read it backwards, but the names are in Japanese, with the exception of the one called Blue Canard. Now, Blue Canard is a bright blue. Oh, basketball. See, I'm such a sports person. I'm reading the comments, by the way, for those who don't know. I'm reading the comments, and I didn't know, I don't know basketball from baseball, from, you know, hockey, from anything else. Although I did watch the Olympic snowboarding the other night, and I was totally mesmerized. So let's see what I've got here. I think the Shimbashi is a really beautiful green color. And, you know, this is typical of anything that I receive from someplace that has a Japanese influence. It's not just the product, it's the packaging. So she used pretty little colored tape to seal in my really beautiful colored envelope so that I can keep the colors sorted. And then when I pull it out, and these again, they're sold loose leaf, it's beautifully wrapped in paper so that it contains everything and it doesn't all flip around. And it is, I'm gonna carefully do this because I flipped it before. Gotta open it gently. It's this gorgeous kind of blue-green color. It's hard to read it on there, but it's not quite a shamrock green. It's not quite tealy. It's almost like a leafy spring green. It's really beautiful. So I think we're going to be using some of that tonight. And so I'm going to leave that out, set it to the side carefully. I also had a pinky purple color, which we might use tonight. I got the Canard blue, and then I got something, hell, I don't remember what I got. I got so many colors. I'm so excited. But I'm going to set all of this carefully to the side right now. And again, the name of that company is Kaori. Let me see if I can pronounce it. It's actually a woman who has a company, and she's a calligrapher and illuminator. Her studio is called Studio Mew, and the address for it online is www.studiomew.com. Her name is Kaori Ogawa. Reaching back to my time living in Japan to try to hope I pronounce her name right. I know this is backwards. I will put this all in the comments below so that you have this resource. Now, I have set up a couple of medallions and that sort of thing. You saw the pictures of them unpainted. Will I post the link afterwards? Absolutely. I will post all links for everything that I'm giving you the information for. This medallion that you're looking at is cast out of like some kind of polyfoam. It's lightweight. The boards, this is a poplar board. If you look in the back, you can see it's wood. I got the boards from Woodcraft, which is a nationwide company, but it's also woodcraft.com. You can order online. And then these medallions I bought on Amazon. And I just put on, I don't even remember the search. I think it searched like adhesive architectural medallions. And they run around $3 or $4 a piece. Some of them are even cheaper. The larger and the more elaborate, like the little Cupid I got here. Cupid, perfect for Valentine's Day. See, I'm thinking of you all. But the smaller ones like this, they're maybe $2.50. Now, there's a company I prefer to use for a lot of this. It's called Bomar. Bomar makes castings of all kinds of wonderful architectural elements, and you steam the piece, and it's made out of composition resins and wood. You steam the piece, and then you adhere it to the surface. Unfortunately, it takes 2 or 3 weeks to get your shipment, and then the pieces have a limited shelf life. So for me to meet their minimum order for a Facebook Live, it was astronomical. So instead, like I said, I ordered these things. And you can see, I'll take one out of the bag so you can see what it looks like. You saw it mounted, but it's like some sort of foam, and then it's primed white, and they're on Amazon, so they're not hard to find, and they're perfect for doing samples when I'm going to do a live, and I don't want to wait weeks and weeks and weeks, and I don't want to buy a product that to buy enough of it to have the order, part of it might expire. Their order is minimum $50, but when I'm doing a Facebook Live, I'm looking at maybe $10 worth of product, and then there's another $40 that I have to figure out what to do with. And I know that isn't a big deal. If I had a class, I'd heartbeat it'd be done, no problem. But for a Facebook Live, I needed 4 pieces to show and do this demonstration. So you can see the difference here. The background is black and flat. The medallion is shiny, and the difference is, once I adhered this, and all I used was good old E600 glue, which you can find in any craft store. I put it in the middle because I didn't want it to squidge out on the edges. Now, if I was doing this in a home, I'd probably have caulked along the edges because I don't want to see that gap. But again, it's a sample board, so I'm not worried. The whole thing was sprayed with set coat black. And then once that was dry and set up, what I've done is applied Dux oil size, which is a quick dry size. The reason I'm not using water-based is because I will be using some tarnishable metals when we're working with this. The silver itself will not tarnish because of the way it's been treated, but the mica, it's not mica, it's metal powders, but what I'll be using has real metal in it, and I don't want to take the chance that my real metals will tarnish with a water-based size. Now, I can use all kinds of water-based size. One of my favorites, Faux Effects Designer Foil size. Now, the reason that's a favorite is because, like an oil-based size, it eventually, after 24 to 48 hours, dries hard. It means I don't have to top coat over it, which is an issue with some of the metals I'll be talking about tonight, because if you top coat it, no matter what kind of top coat you use, water-based, alcohol-based, oil-based, solvent-borne acrylics, it changes the color of the metals, and that's not good. Hey, Jody, I don't know what I'm distracting you from, but I hope it's a good distraction. So this is what I use often if I need to use a water-based size and do gilding in a place where oil-based sizes are not appropriate. And believe me, sometimes I have customer where the oil-based size is not appropriate. My other favorite water-based size is the Artsyville foil adhesive, and the reason for that is unlike some of the other sizes on the market, I only have to put 1 coat on, and it releases, when I'm doing foils, it releases my foils really well, and it stays tacky forever, and that sometimes is a huge benefit, but I will never do that under a leaf that cannot be top coated, because I have to put a top coat over a permanently sticky leaf. Because foils leaf-like foil has some porosity to it, and it will have places that you haven't completely covered in leaf, and it will, it'll adhere with dust, lint. You brush by it, you'll be, my sweater will leave little fuzzies on it. So, that's how that goes. That's why we're not using any water-based size in this project tonight. So I'm going to take my sizes out of your way because with my luck, I'm a little klutzy. I'll spill it on things. And now I'm going to determine. I've got this beautiful medallion. It's already got size on it. Before I go, pigments I ordered from Japan. That's for the next one. I haven't broke this one open yet to see what it's going to do. I have the options of using, back to the medallion. For the medallion, I have the option of using the silvers that I showed you, colored composition leaves, which are generally either copper or composition gold, which is not real gold, it's made with brass. And they are tarnishable, so therefore they react to being treated with chemicals and heat to get color blooms on them. Or imitation gold leaf, but why would I work with imitation when I have lots and, yeah, you can't see it this way. Lots and lots of real gold leaf, which is so pretty. So I think for this medallion, because we all enjoyed that bright blue one I did before with the metal leaves around it, I'm going to do something similar. Maybe for Valentine's Day, I'll take one of the red adhesives. Now I'm going to be turning the camera down towards what I'm doing. And understand it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for me to see what I'm doing when I'm looking at my board and not at the camera. Now, you all watched me the other day. I'm going to be doing that silver leaf, but that silver leaf is super, super brittle. In this case, that works for me because what I'm actually going to do is take a couple of pieces. I've got the red, I've got, I think we'll take the red. I like the contrast with the red. I'm going to actually just, let's see, what did I do here? I said I was going to use the green, but I'm actually using the red. I'm going to take a little bit of tissue paper. I don't want that tissue paper, I think. Obviously, I'm thinking on my feet, or actually on my butt, because I'm sitting. I'm going to take a little bit of this leaf, or sheet or so. I'll start with one. Oh, and by the way, these also are something I purchased with the silver leaf, this super stiff silver leaf, so I can actually pick it up a little better. I am not going to be using a gilder's tip for this. I'm going to be kind of messing with it with my fingers and a few other ways of doing it. Oh, this leaf is so pretty. I don't know if you can see it. Let me change it up here. Can you see this? It's, I think the glare on it may be hard for you to see, but it is pink, 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 and it's pretty, pretty, pretty. Let's see if I can get a piece with this. I get a couple pieces. Most of the time, my fingers are the best tool. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to take it over here. I'm going to make sure I only have one sheet. I'm not going to waste. And as I thought, I had two. This isn't, I'm going to be totally, I'm going to be beaten on by traditional gilders because I am doing this completely non-traditionally. I'm working with this more as a decorative artist than as a true gilder. We are not going to be doing some of the 100% true gilding techniques because I want to play. I don't want to go 100% traditional. And what I'm actually doing is tearing this. And this leaf is stiffer, so I can actually kind of play at it and tear at it in ways that I can't do other leaves. You know, if it sticks to my fingers with what I'm about to do, and actually I'm going to empty my one finger so I can move the camera. I'm just sort of going to tap it in spots on the medallion, and we're going to embrace the irregularity. And I'm going to crumble some of it up. I know, it's probably giving somebody a heart attack there. But it's really not meant to be, for this, the way I did it with the other medallion, I really worked not to have it perfect. I was trying to avoid that perfect, perfect, perfect thing. And I'm just sort of sprinkling it on. And I actually do have special brushes for this, so give me just a second to reach down into my magic gilding bin. I have lots of containers of different things in my studio. Oh, nice side view of my boob. Okay. Let's find my tools. Most gilders have what they call a kit, and I have a kit. And it's a yellow toolbox that... Okay, sorry about that. Dropped the phone. It went a little crazy on me. It's me and trying to figure out how to make my... What I need is like 3 people videoing this over my shoulder because I can't keep track of the camera and myself at the same time. So I apologize for that little break there. So I have what I call a gilder's kit, and it's actually a yellow toolbox, and it keeps all kinds of tools. But I keep special tools safely tucked into this roll. So I have a gilder's knife, and I also have some tamping brushes. There's another name for them, but my brain is not allowing me to remember them tonight. So I'm just going to take some more of this silver. Now I'm going to put it back down over here where I'm working. So I'm going to take some more of this silver and the skewings and tap them all over. And really, I want it random because this is going to be super pretty. Now I'm going to have to probably use 2 or 3 more pieces of leaf to do this. I think what I'm going to do is work on with you 2 projects tonight because I think otherwise I'll be on the video too long with you. You'll be bored to death. And I'm going to take this silver again, tearing it up. And if you can see it here, I'm just taking it and shredding it. How do you work with the most brittle leaf available? You embrace the brittleness. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to, again, just scatter it around. And I'm going to take as much and get as much color on it as I want. I know I give a lot of information and sometimes it's a little bit of blah, blah, blah. But I want you to understand the materials when I do stuff because that helps you make your projects better. Understanding why certain things do what they do is really helpful, at least to me. Sometimes I get really interested in the chemistry. Okay, I think we need a 3rd leaf. Okay. You know, for example, I got a whole bunch of them there, and that's not what I meant to do. For example, I like knowing why things do what they do. And that helps me create a better finish because understanding why something fails or why something works truly means that you're going to have a more successful outcome. Now, God only knows, I've had my share of happy accidents, and they have been some really interesting stuff. I mean, truly. And then there's, you know, I look back at some of my earlier jobs and wonder why the stuff is still stuck to the walls, because I really didn't know what I was doing at that time. All right, so, and I have also done size on the side of this, but I think what I'm going to do is catch that with different mica or metal powders. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little brush and I'm going to tap this down so it's all in there. And because this is set up to tack gold leaf, if anybody's never worked with size before, leaf size or foil size should feel about as sticky as a piece of Scotch tape. If it's stickier than that, you're not going to have proper adhesion and it won't dry with a nice shine when it comes to leaf. It's just going to look kind of gummy. Now, again, that can be a very cool look. I'm putting money on that I have my size a little heavy in some of these crevices, so I might end up with a little gritty kind of weirdness going, but it could be very cool. So I've tapped all this leaf down, and that in itself is so pretty. Look how pretty that pink is. Oh my God, I'm so glad I bought this. Thank God my husband doesn't see my art supply bills until tax time. He's a good man. But, you know, I don't want to end up divorced over silver leaf. I'm sure some of you with either business partners or spouses have somebody who puts the brake on you occasionally. Keeps you from out of control spending. But I consider these my birthday presents to me a little belated because my birthday was last month, not this month. A month ago today, as a matter of fact. So I'm treating myself to silver leaf as a belated birthday present. So here we go. We've got this beautiful pink leaf on. Now my next thing to do is to choose what colors I want to go with it. I have all sorts of, I'm going to pull this back up without flipping it. On this shelf here, this whole shelf from here to here is all mica powders. I also have little stashes of it elsewhere, and last year, again, at Salon, I bought from Sep Leaf their entire sample of box of different mica powders. So it's really, I really have a lot. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm not keeping up with your questions because when it's angled down, I can't see it. So I'm sort of poking through here. I have a little super copper. I don't think I want to poke these bags open today. I think they kind of need a little more controlled atmosphere, and I definitely would need to wear a mask using them. I'm not going to for where we're going next, so I want something I have a little more control over. And everybody has their way of applying metallics. Let me see what I have over here. I have, unfortunately, this is a color. I love this color. It's kind of pinky. And it's called Russet. And it's discontinued, unfortunately. Maybe I'll use the gold. Let's see what other colors I've got. Ooh, I have something called Magenta Bronze. So we're going to have a couple other colors. These two come from, and just so you know, I'm putting all this stuff that I'm kind of picking up and figuring out as I go along. I'm putting them in a pile, so at the end of this, when I download it and can comment, I have all the products that I use so I can tell you the resources. But these are, this is gold, and this is Russet from Sep Leaf. And then there's this cool place on West 19th in New York called Guerrera Pigments. And I got what they call a Magenta Bronze. So I'm going to tap a few little different things in here to see how much I like of how much. I think I want to go predominantly gold in between here to make this pink really pop. And then I might tap in a little bit of russet here and there. Now, how do I use these? Well, it helps to have friends in the beauty business. We'll start with that, but you can get these at any beauty supply. I use makeup brushes. I get a little more control with them. And I have a bunch of them, and I have really big ones, and I have even really bigger ones. So it depends on the size of the project I'm doing. But most of the time for something little, I'm using this size, and I'm using this size. It offers me some more control. And I don't worry about anything getting onto the side here. First of all, I haven't got any size here, but even if I did, what I can't wipe off, I'd recoat with a little black set coat to clean it up. And yes, you can use an oil-based size over a water-based paint like set coat. So that's what I've done. Whew, I still got a little stuff floating around. All right, so here we have let's see, Sep Leaf Metallic Gold. It's a bright gold, which I really, really like. And I'm going to do this. I kind of shake the jar upside down because then I get some stuck to the cap. It's like a little like playing with eyeshadow. And it controls how much is floating around. So I have that. If that's not enough, I might actually tap some into here, but you don't want to breathe metallic and mica particles, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this so carefully. And I know it looks like I'm hiding all this pink, but what's going to happen is wherever the pink did stick, the gold will go away. Wherever the pink didn't stick is where the gold will stick. And I'm sure this is, you know, it's think of it as like masking. So I'm going to put a little bit in here and there. Oh, I love the way this is grabbing. Oh, look how pretty that silver. And, you know, I'm taking my little brush, too, and it'll get some little particles on it. I don't care because I'll wash it and clean it. And if it's got any size stuck to it, I'll wash it and clean it and paint thinner. I'm going to go in here and kind of tap on things because sometimes this brush is just too soft and it doesn't get into every place because it's meant to be for very delicate work. And I'm kind of beating on this a little bit because I want it to really stamp in. Now, if I was trying to go for 100% coverage with this, not only would I cover it once, but I'd probably use 2 sheets of leaf at the same time. So the first one sticks to the high spots, and then the top one I'm tapping down into the low spots and getting a more even coverage. But I love putting metal powders or mica powders in combination with this. For those who don't know, using metal and mica powders on size is called flash gilding. For my friend Michael Gilbert, who will see this and tell me that I didn't add it if I don't do that. Michael, it's flash gilding. Okay, so I'm putting a little pink in here. I mean, a little gold in here. Oh, look how pretty this is. Oh my gosh. And this looks so expensive. Now, and truly, each part of this, the board was $2. The medallion was at max $4. I just don't happen to remember offhand. The leaf, the 3 sheets of leaf that I used were probably, let me do some math, $6. They're not inexpensive. I think they're about $3 a sheet. That's why you choose to use them selectively. The mica powder, well, this one was a freebie. This was a gift that I got from when I was from, I think it was a welcome bag or something. It came in, I think it was Society of Gilders last summer in Texas, which, oh my gosh, if anybody's ever interested in gilding, I suggest you check out the Society of Gilders online. It's a small organization. They do a convention every other year. This is how I learned about half of this stuff. Listen, I'm not a long time. Can I put the camera more in focus? Is it not grabbing on there? Is that helping? I'm looking to see if it helps. Is that better? My camera's on an angle and it's on a swivel neck, so again, I can't see if it's in focus or not. So I'm hoping from the angle I'm looking at that's in focus, it looks right. I'm not a long time gilder. I mean, I've done decorative gilding, sort of the way I, kind of made it up as I went along, type of gilding for years. Read books, kind of figured stuff out, but no professional training with it for a long, long time. And I decided, I don't know, half a dozen or more years ago to join Society of Gilders so I could actually learn some of the things that I've always said I wanted to learn. My first class was in Variegated, which has become an addiction. Variegated, for those who are not familiar, is the gilding and reverse painting on glass. All right, I'm going to put I just put a little more gold powder in there. And my face is nowhere near this, because even though I'm treating it like makeup, this isn't makeup. This isn't food grade. You don't put it on your face. You don't want to breathe it. I'm much more controlled with it here, but I can't guarantee that's how it's always going to be on every job. So I usually work with a respirator. I've got this killer magenta. I have no idea what this is going to look like, so I'm totally winging this right now. I'm dipping a little in here. Ooh, 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 ooh. I did it behind a place. You're not going to see it so well, so I'm going to do it up top. Look at that deep, rich pink. It goes right with the silver, the pink silver. Oh, this is so pretty. And I love that I'm getting all these different depths of shine in here. You're going to watch me do this all the way through. This is a little tedious. So was putting on the size. The size had to have a small brush applied so that I could get in all the details and keep it from being overfilled. Oh, this is coming out so pretty. Oh, I'm so happy. This is like my little Valentine to myself. I'd give it to my husband, but I don't think he wants anything pink. All right, and I'm going to go around the edges as I'm doing this right now too, so that I can get all the sides. And again, like I said, I am not worried about getting any mica powder or metal powders down here. It'll blow off what doesn't blow off. I will work on wiping off what doesn't wipe off. I will carefully touch up with black set coat. Look how it's almost now that it's on here, this magenta, it's like a great match for this. It's making the pink, it's taking the pink to another level. Oh, I'm loving this. And then what I'm going to do is, once this has dried a little bit, I will come back in and dust it a little harder. I don't want to play with it when the size is too wet, because I know I might have some damp spots in here. I want to make sure that I don't tear anything back up. So I'll give it a day or so to cure up a little bit. Oil-based products do take longer than water-based, just, for those who are not familiar with water-based versus oil-based. I know a lot of people haven't worked in anything oil-based, and I generally don't. This is one of the few things that I do that is almost always oil-based, unless it's more for decorative work in somebody's home and it's larger and I can find a way to do it with water-based. But I am one of those people who still loves oil-based products. I hope I never have to completely give them up due to EPA laws. I know I might have to move to Europe, move in with Kate Whitson, and we can all get ourselves just crazy on oil-based products. All right. So I've done most of this, but I also wanted to test this one russet color to see how it looks. And I'm going to test it in an obscure corner, because if I don't like it, if it looks too orangey, I'm not going to use more of it. So I'm tapped a little tiny bit into my cap. That's my neighbor's phone ringing. That's not me. My time's not up. The men in the white coats aren't coming to get me. Oh, that's pretty. I like a little bit of that orange. Yes, they have, I share a space, so sometimes their answering machine goes off down here, and it will make some noise, and so I'm going to try to talk over it too, so you don't have to listen to who's calling my neighbors. Oh, I like how this russet is coming on. It's a nice little bit of orangey contrast with this very, very pink look. Look how pretty that is. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh. And I'm hitting places that you can't necessarily see in the camera. And the cool thing is, I don't care when this dries if there's some black spots to it, because it makes some nice contrast. But what you see me do is, if you look at the edges, I've put some powders here, but I haven't gotten all the way around. So I'm going to get the last of this edge, and then we're going to move on to the cherub, which we're actually going to do in 23 karat gold, just because I can. And I'll pop the camera back up and we'll talk for a minute, and if I've missed questions, I'll try to answer them, because I can't see your questions if my camera's down. I'm not ignoring you. I'm working on the project so you can see. All right, so I'm going to make sure I put the lids back on everything before I... Yeah, that's why I wanted to put the lids back on, because I just dumped some on my desk. So I can make sure that I don't elbow things over, because I'm working in a small space. Isn't this pretty? Let me give it a little blow. Now, I have not, you can see there's powder all over everything, but look how pretty that is. Oh, and once I've burnished this up a little bit and it's set up, yes, like chocolate candy. This is not edible, though. Don't put this on your chocolates and give it to your sweetheart. You might not have a sweetheart after it. But look how pretty that is. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh. That just came out beautifully. Well, this may be in either one of my classes, either for Idol or for my class up down in Kentucky. Ooh, I'm so excited. All right, reaching over. Hi, you can see my hand. We're gonna do the Cupid. And we're gonna do the Cupid in 23 karat gold. You're gonna have to give me a second here, because I need to pull out my gilding tools. I don't leave my gilder's tip and all that other stuff up when I'm doing something that I'm not using it for, because it's a good way for it to get dirty and have things stick to it that I don't want stuck to it, and then it becomes an issue. You know, I don't want to basically it's like I don't want to cross-contaminate my tools. Now I'm gonna stamp out my brushes, and I will probably take my brushes later and clean them. If I don't clean them tonight, I can clean them tomorrow. It won't hurt anything. Just on these, because it's, you know, it's Valentine's, and I have a Valentine waiting for me too. God bless him. He's a good man. He drove around the city today waiting for me, because I was, ooh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kick you. You got to see the blank wall. He's a good man. He drove around the city with me all day today. Or I shouldn't say with me. He drove around the city all day today waiting for me, because I was in court with one of my darling clients who was being sued by an unethical contractor, and we were there all day long. We got there before 9 o'clock in the morning and didn't finish until 2, so it was a long day. All right, let me reach down in here, grab my gilder's tip and my gilder's pad. This is a gilder's pad. Now mine's pretty beat up, but I have several of them. I know there are other gilders who have them bigger. This is about a 6x6. It's made by Sepleaf, but I think I've probably found them less expensive somewhere else. I did a lot of online shopping in comparison. This is actually one that I got at my original Society of Gilders convention in New Orleans, so I have a little love for it. It does not have a windscreen because I'm in my studio. I'm the only one here. If there's any wind, it's me creating it. And I have my tips and all these different sizes, and I think the last video I showed you, I have some that are badger hair and some that are sable, some that are squirrel. Depends on the size. I think I'm going to work with this size because I'm going to be cutting pieces small so that it fits on top of the little cherub, and then I'm going to be tamping it in. Maybe I want to get rid of some of the pink. So, yeah, just as I feared. There were a couple places where my size was a little damp on the other one, and it's kind of gummed up on here. I won't use this one. I have another, it's a little bigger. And then I will clean those properly. And really, anybody who knows me and has ever taken a class with me knows that I'm kind of a nut about keeping your tools clean because you invest money in your tools. I invest money in my tools. I don't believe in throwaway tools. I don't use cheap throwaway brushes from Home Depot. I think they're a huge waste of money. I'd rather spend my money on one good brush and take good care of it. And I'm kind of that way about my tools. I know my table. I live in organized chaos here, but truly, I think that if you don't take care of your tools, you're wasting your money. I've always said that about. I'm late to the party. Hi, Celia. You're not that late. I think tonight we're going to use, let me see whether I have any red gold. Now you won't see the difference in this color on the screen. It's just a slightly redder gold than 22 karat, and I don't want to use lemon. I think it's too bright. And I will show you what I mean about these colors in a minute. How many sheets do I have here? I think that's not enough. I may have to choose my color based on how many sheets or how many pieces of leaf I have left, because some of these, I don't have a whole lot of them left. I was doing a big gilding project and I'm a little low on some colors. So maybe I will be using lemon leaf because that's what I have the most of. Lemon gold is a bright yellow. Where did I put my book? Here it is. I actually keep a book that says gold leaf samples, and I've ordered them from every company that sells them, and they actually have real samples of the gold in them, so you can get a true read on each company's colors. And it makes a difference because some companies, red gold is a little redder than other companies' red gold. Some companies' champagne gold might look a little different. Some of them, they're exactly the same color, but they're under a different name, so it's nice to be able to compare. My general gold leaf supplier is W&B out here in the Midwest, but I also order from Sepleaf in New York, and I think all their supplies now come through Gilded Planet. So, back to the project. Oh, I almost forgot one thing. Cannot forget it. I'm not successful without it. Vaseline. Why Vaseline, you say? Well, you have to have something to have the tip help grab up the gold. Not a lot, because you'll ruin it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn the Cupid upside down. I am going to aim my camera back down. I'm hoping that the focus is good. Somebody send me a text message or something if I can, because I might see the text message before I can see your comments. I'm aiming back down here. All right, I'm trying to get this so that you're actually in the screen. It's a little hard for me to do this at a weird angle. Maybe if I bring this over and angle it around a little bit. I have a gooseneck on my, let's see, I'm kind of leaning in. Okay, I can work this. So what I do, let's see which one of these I've opened. I don't know. None of them usually what I do when I finish up with my project, I write how many pieces of leaf I have on the back so that I'm not thinking I have a full book when there's only 2 or 3 pieces. That's how I figured out that I maybe should use lemon gold instead of what I was thinking. So this is going to be much more delicate. I roll this book of leaf, and these are in books, not loose in sheets like you saw the other. And I do mine differently, but again, I am not a constant expert gilder. The people who spend their whole life doing this would probably be appalled when they see some of the things I do. But it's okay, it works for me. Let me get to the first sheet. I try not to skip my sheets. And there is a sheet of leaf. Now, I will use something to hold this open so I don't lose my place. I will take the leaf and I'm going to shift it around a little bit to get it a little flatter so I get better usage. Hold on. Whoops, see, I didn't do that right. Sometimes I can flip it right and sometimes I can't. I'm not worried about it getting crinkled at all. Little puff of air trying to flatten it down. Now, if the camera weren't in the right way, I'd be able to go dead flat down. And I have all these strange little shapes in my Cupid, so I'm going to use my Gilder's knife, which has a blade side to it, and I check all the time when I use this to see if I have any nicks. This side, I can feel a slight nick, so I'm going to try working on the other side, and I will sharpen it like you sharpen a knife, only not as sharp. And I'm going to cut it in half, and all I do is take a little bit like that, and then I cut it in pieces. A little like my mother told me never to do at the table. I'm cutting my gold into pieces. Again, I'm doing this decoratively. This is, by the way, an oil gilding like this is called mordant gilding, as opposed to traditional water gilding for picture frames, which requires gesso and bowl and gelatin solution. I'm putting a little bit of leaf on my arm. And this is where I struggled the last time because I didn't know how heavy silver leaf was, but I do know well how light gold is. I'm going to see how well I'm picking up. Oh, I picked up well today. And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to drop it. And I'm going to take it, and I didn't cut completely, that's okay. And I'm going to drop it. If you'll see, I'm overlaying. I need a little more on my arm. Because when I start tamping this in, it's got recesses to catch. See where I did that there? I wanted you to see that. So having overlaying goes better. Now, I won't be able to burnish this to the high shine the way you do with an agate gilder for water gilding like you see on picture frames, but I'm going to make it nice anyway. Oh, I'm going to have a nice big long piece because it doesn't want to cut. Well, fine. I'll just lay it there. And I have a little piece stuck there. So I'm going to get it off. And this will go back and forth with about, I'd say, because we have so much detail, I'd say that probably in the neighborhood of 6 to 10 sheets. I assume that somebody who's a little more proficient in gilding than I am. Oh, I love when it sticks to my fingers. A little more proficient in gilding than I am might be able to get away with using less. When I first started doing this, I had panic attacks about using leaf and how, I was letting gold and then I was I was going to screw it up, and I was going to waste the gold, and I was going to make a mess, and it was unforgivable. And oh my God, it's gold, it's gold, it's gold, it's gold. Well, I kind of learned after doing it for a couple of weeks to suck it up. It's gold, but it's an art material. Art materials are going to have waste from time to time. You're going to have overages. You're going to have places that don't work quite right. You're going to have it stick to your fingers. Stop sweating it. Just use it. Yeah, it's taken me a little time to get this comfortable with a tip. But you're seeing me use my little tip and little pieces, which is much easier for me. I still can't, unlike some of the really gifted, I can't take a whole sheet and pick it up and flip it down and have it lay perfectly square. I cannot. I have not mastered that skill yet. So and you know what? I don't worry about it. It's something I keep working on. I figure it's like any other art form. It takes practice. And I'm okay with that. Truly, it doesn't freak me out. It did at first. I thought, oh, I must be doing this wrong because I can't get it 100% perfect in like 3 tries. Ooh, I let out 2 pieces. That's fine. Let me take my knife and separate them. Hell, it took me a year to figure out how to use my knife like that and just put a piece in the corner. And I still can't flip it like some people do. I've seen people just flip it and like a pancake and it lays down perfect. Well, I can't quite do that. I'm working on it. I have my iPad over here. I'm here. My iPad's over here, so I'm always checking to see if somebody sent me a text message saying, we can't see you, we can't hear you, everything's out of focus, so don't think if you don't send me a message, I don't see it. Fortunately, I must have gotten it finally in focus so you can all see. So again, I've taken the pieces, cut them up small, taken my tip. Now, let me put this up to you here for a second. I have a bad habit, especially when I'm working with the Variegated. I'm going to take this and put it in my mouth. It's why I bought these wood ones, because I always stick it in my mouth. I don't do it so much with the mordant gilding, with the oil-based gilding. Let me make sure that this is in the screen. It's a little hard sometimes. I'm looking at things in a strange angle. If this is not in focus, like I had missed it before, so please somebody tell me. And look how pretty this is when it just lays down in there. If it's not perfect, I'm not worried. And I'll tell you what, if I don't get all the things filled in like I didn't when I was purposely doing it with the silver, I'll just take some gold powder that is closest to this that I have all these samples of, and I will fill it in with that. So I'm laying a lot of leaf down first. You noticed I haven't gone back to check and see how any of it's adhered. I will do that, but not this second. I want to get a bunch of gold down and see how I'm doing with things first. And get on the sides and stick things around. Now, I don't use my tip to tamp down. That's not what this is designed for. It is just a few thin hairs designed to pick up gold leaf. And I'm going to shove it in corners. All right, so I've put a lot of leaf on here. And what I'm going to do is take a larger skewing brush and tamp. And look how it's grabbing. Oh, look at that. Now, I may have missed putting some size right in here in his legs. Guess what? No big deal. I can always drop a few drops of size in there later and come back and fill it in. But look how beautiful that is. Look how that, just so much nice detail. And yeah, I got skewings. And I always try to brush the skewings back up onto the surface because first of all, it's gold. And skewings are great because it fills in little crevices that I missed. But I think right here specifically, I missed putting in some size because I was painting black on black and the light just didn't catch the reflection there for me to see that I had not hit it. I'm going to take this last piece of leaf. I'm going to work on tucking some of it in around the cherub's head. And then I'm going to look up to you guys and see if you want me to work on another one. All right, cut. And I cut. And again, I'm making little pieces. I flipped it around because my hand slipped on my knife. This is why I'm not on Top Chef. Because if I was on Top Chef, that would have been my thumb. Okay, so I'm going to take it and drop it in here. And that one's not cut apart. Like Thanksgiving dinner, somebody didn't carve the turkey quite right. Obviously, I don't sweat a lot of things anymore. I'm trying not to get uptight when I do stuff like this because I know that there's going to be flaws. I know I'm going to make mistakes, and I have worked hard to come to the conclusion that mistakes are part of learning. And if I thought I was going to be perfect every time I did it, then I wouldn't need to take a class and I wouldn't need a lesson. I'd already know everything and it would be all done. And see, I just wrapped that around my finger. Ooh, look, I'm catching. See, I'm catching. Stuff flies. When I run out of, my skin is really dry. So when I start running out of Vaseline on my arm, where I'm going like this, I actually have trouble getting things to adhere. Other people who are oilier, just run their tip across their chin or their forehead or their nose or whatever, and that little bit of oil that the tip picks up helps the leaf adhere. See, I just put a little more Vaseline on my arm. Unfortunately, that person's never going to be me. I was never even an oily teenager. I have always had dry skin. And, you know, so instead of acne, I scratched because, you know, I was itchy, dry skin. That's what happens. Everybody has their thing. That was mine. I'm going to try to pick up some of these little tiny bits and see if I can get it on the tip of the wing. And that worked. Don't think I'm super skilled because I can pick up these little tiny pieces of gold. It's actually the Vaseline on my tip that allows it to grab. I finally learned that, you know, some things you have to be superhuman for when you do this, some things you don't. I'm going to turn this a little bit. I know it'll be a little bit more of a challenge for you to see some of it, but I've missed this whole side here, and I'd like to actually get some gold on it. Oops. Let me grab my tip and see, this is what happens. Your tip runs out a little bit of the oil that it likes to grab. Ooh, it does not want to grab right now. There we go. And it just drops the gold wherever it feels like dropping it instead of where you want it to go. Let's see. I think I'm going to cut this up a little bit. Sometimes I don't even worry about them being perfect pieces. I just need a piece to fit a certain space. And I want that to go in here. I think if you all are interested in staying with me, I'll do one more piece of gilding after this. And we'll do a piece of composition leaf, and I will show you my cheap and easy way of handling that. I think I just need a little. I'm going to take one more piece of leaf. I'm going to try to jam it in wherever it doesn't stick. Means I wasn't a good girl and I probably didn't get enough size in those spots. Come on, leg up. Sometimes the dry air is a challenge too. Now, if you've ever watched some of the Japanese making of this, they pick these sheets of gold up and flip them around. toss them, they just toss them up in the air and they fall flat, and then they flip another one, and it's a whole skill set. It's amazing to watch. I have gold leaf from all kinds of countries. I have some gold leaf from India that is much brighter yellow, but it comes in much smaller pieces. I have things from the UK. I have things from Japan. I just like collecting this stuff. I like to see what different countries bring to the mix. This is, a centuries old art, so why wouldn't I go back and check out some of the resources that were the originators of this? And as you can see, I'm laying gold on top of gold so that it goes into the crevices. And I think I'm going to stick some more in there, but I think I may have missed some spots in there. Maybe I'll take one more piece and wrap it on the top of his head. Again, I think I see some spots that I actually did not hit with the size. It happens. So I'm going to tamp this in. And again, by the time I finish this will be cleaned up and much less dusty and fusty. But look how pretty that is. Oh my gosh, I love stuff like this. Gold leaf size, the oil size, has an amazing self-leveling quality that allows you to get this kind of smooth sheen on there. Oh yes, my neighbors are getting more phone calls. I apologize. I have no idea who they're getting phone calls from. It must be that hour. So, again, I'm going to let this sit up. I'm going to bring the camera up. So look how pretty that is. Look how gorgeous the sheen in that is. I am just thrilled. I'm going to bring it up close so you can see it. I hope it's not too blurry. I'll let my camera let it focus in. Oh, okay. Celia says more, please. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is we're going to use a little bit of composition leaf. But I'm going to take a second. I have these last two little pieces of gold sitting here. So it goes on my tip like that. And I'm just going to shove them on here any place that it'll stick, because otherwise I will end up losing these and they're just going to blow around my studio. And why should I waste it when I know there's probably at least a few adhesive spots that this will stick to? All right, so I've done that. I'm going to put away that side. So we have a couple more things going on here, and I know I keep kicking my stand with my foot. So here's this one. And as you can see, I also have this one. Now, if you look at the bottom, I had a little drip. I'm not really worried about that. And I'm trying to decide which one I want to do. We've done a medallion, we've done a cupid. I think we'll do this sort of fleur-de-lis pattern. This dribble here, it will take leaf because I didn't catch it when it was still wet and wipe it off. Doesn't matter. I don't worry about it. Again, I don't worry about these things. I find ways to work around it. Maybe it'll look cool with it on it. I don't know. So I'm going to pull out, forgive me, I'm going to duck out of camera view for a second because I need to reach behind me and get my variegated leaf. Anybody who's wondering, this is my leaf collection. I have all kinds of stuff in here. I have the Japanese silver. I keep my real gold in here. I keep my compo golds in here. Compo gold, once again, is composition gold. I keep my variegated leaves, which are leaves that have been treated. And I have some variegated leaves that I bought so long ago, I don't remember why I bought them. I have all these kind of weird things. I have green variegated, and honestly, some of them I don't remember what they look like. I'm going to open this green and see what it looks like and see if it's fairly uniform across. Yeah, it's not too bad, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to put some of this down here. This is the green variegated. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I don't know if it's getting glare. I know you can see it from behind the paper. I'm not sure. It may be so old I lost some of the color on it. I truly don't know, but this is a stack that I just pulled out because I keep so much stuff in here. I don't know if that's a variegated or if that's something else. That's something else. That's something else. I have some colored composition leaf, and they're really temperamental, but the colors I have won't show against the bronze well. That's not what it is. Oh, yes, I have some stripey. I have stuff that, like I said, I have this crazy stuff that I've just bought and bought and bought. And I have something that looks like, you can see it through here, it looks a little like a sunburst pattern, but now it's been in here so long, I don't think the sunburst pattern, you can't actually see the sunburst pattern anymore. I told you, sometimes I just squirrel stuff away. All right, there we go. We've got some composition leaf that has some nice pattern to it. It's got enough contrast to go on here. And here is my favorite cheater's way of doing this. I take a piece of the separating paper. I cut my books apart. I cut the spine off of them. And I take pieces of leaf. Truly, I think sometimes this is the hard part, getting the two pieces. And you see I have it sandwiched between the paper. I'm going to read Suzanne's comment. I missed some, forgive me if you already said. What would you use on the cherub or the medallion? On the cherub, I used lemon gold, true gold, and the color is called lemon. And on the medallion, I used a pink colored silver leaf, and I used a bright gold metallic powder. I'm sorry, I'm not looking. I'm trying to remember. I used a bright gold metallic powder. I used a magenta bronze metallic powder, and I used a russet metallic powder. Again, I will write up all of these companies that I get stuff from. Don't ask me where I got this variegated leaf. I mean, it's an Italian variegated leaf I bought years ago. It could be a Sep leaf product. It could be from anybody. Oh, did I attach the piece to something? No, these are just sample boards. So the piece was glued on, the medallion was glued on with E600 to a piece of, this is, I don't remember what kind of wood this is, but it's a fine grain wood, not birch, poplar, sorry, forgot what it was, poplar wood. I painted the whole thing. Actually took my sprayer out and painted the whole thing, but it was just glued on. These are sample boards. Now, if I was doing this on furniture, yes, I would be more cautious. I would have things taped off carefully. I'd be worrying about more details. I'm doing samples right now so you can see what this stuff looks like. So I've got my variegated leaf, and one of my easiest ways, and I do this with some walls sometimes when I have to gild it, I slide down the piece of paper. Now I'm going to show you what I do because I'm going to aim this down. I slide the piece of paper down so I have an inch or two, and I use that, and I drop it, and I slide the paper, I slid the paper out, and then I can use that to help push it. And I actually still have another piece of leaf under here. So what I'm going to do is slide the paper down. And the reason I'm doing two pieces is that there's a lot of crevices. So when I tap this in, I have double leaf to get into the crevices. Now this is just sort of float on top, but I've now applied two pieces of leaf. And where's my bigger brush? There it is. It's me every day in my studio. I start getting busy and I put things on top of things. And I'm going to push this down. And that top piece of leaf actually helps push into the corners. Now there's some that aren't getting anything, and that's okay, because I obviously got some to spare. And the reason that my brush is grabbing is that there is some probably some pooled size right here in the edges, and it's grabbing it. and occasionally I get a little tiny bit of it on the tip of my skewing brush. And so you can see this is all tamped in, and there's probably some stuff in here, but this is often how, this is what I shouldn't say, I don't speak for all gilders, but I was taught that on highly detailed carvings, most gilders will put 2 pieces of whatever leaf it is they're working with on top of each other, so that when it's tamped down like this, it goes into the crevices and you don't spend a lot of time trying to piece stuff in. Now, you know, I'm picking this up with my fingers. This is not what most gilders do, but I'm not worrying because all I'm trying to do is get to the bottom of this piece right here. And I am pushing it into the crevices, and I'm pushing it against the edges here. I'm tamping it in to make sure I've got them. Oops, I'm sorry, I kicked that. Me and my big feet. I'm going to pull some of this off of here, and I'm going to take it up on top. And again, not everybody's going to do this. Somebody else might do it a little differently by taking a pair of tweezers and pushing it in, or taking, generally not using their fingers. I'm a fingers person. It gets me in trouble sometimes. But I'm going back in with extra leaf over any place that looks like it didn't get enough gold, or at this point composition gold on the surface. And again, the nice thing is, especially with oil size, is once this sets up, if I find that I have missed a spot, if there's a dry spot that needs a little something something stuck into it, I can tamp in a little oil size into the crevices. I can put a little more leaf in, and you won't see it unless you do it so that it's a big gobby pool. I always put my gold leaf size on thin. Again, in this case, I used Duck's Quick Size because I knew I was doing a Facebook Live, and I wanted to have it set up within 45 minutes to an hour and have it be open time anywhere from 3 hours to 4 hours for me. There are 12-hour size, which means it takes 12 hours for it to set up for use. And that's awesome when you want to leaf, a big project, and you put all the size on in a big space at night, and you come back and you work it in the morning, and you have lots of working time with it. My personal issues with 12-hour size, I got a bad can right now, so I don't use it for anything. I'm waiting for it to improve. I shouldn't say I'm waiting for it to improve. I'm waiting to replace it. I have an old can of a product that I really, really love, and it's just not working well. So now I'm going back and I'm kind of burnishing it a little bit. I will not go in with an agate burnisher. You can't do that with this. It doesn't work that way. Agate burnishers, if you've never seen one, I will show you what it looks like. I'm sure some of you have seen it in stores. I don't know what it is. This is an agate burnisher. This piece up here is agate, and it's used in water-based gilding, and you go back in and you rub it once the leaf is set up, and you're burnishing with it, and you're getting a high shine. That doesn't work with oil-based size. You don't do that. Because what you do when you burnish with the agate burnisher on the bowl is you're actually polishing the clay that's under it too, sort of like a Venetian plaster, so the whole surface is getting smooth and shiny. It doesn't work that way with oil-based size. You don't have that. You're not burnishing underneath anything. This is on a piece of compo material. There's no gesso over it. There's no bowl over it. There's no anything that you can actually polish. I'm going to take a little piece here and stick it down there. See, I'm trying not to have it go on that big dribble that I had on the bottom. But if it does, I don't care. And see, kind of work the skewings off the sides and kind of try to bring them up into the top so that it can fill any little crevices. I haven't turned this around, so I have no idea what the back of this looks like. Oh, I did all right. I got it all the way down in there. Okay. That's really pretty. Now when it dries, obviously I will clean it up a little more. I think when it dries a little bit, I'll be, because I have so much size, that's where I said before you might get this sort of crumbly look, which I actually like. Happens when your size is damp in these crevices, and it kind of, you're actually putting the imprint of your brush and stuff in there when you're tapping it, so you don't get this nice smoothness like you get up here. But I kind of like it. It makes it look old and crusty. Would I seal this afterwards? Not this. This will react. I won't seal this. The silver leaf with the pink, the pink silver, the pink medallion with the colored silver. Yes, I would use a solvent-based top coat over it, because I used also metals in the it wasn't mica powder. When I burnished it up and filled it in with powders, that was real metal, and any water-based top coat might cause those metals to turn greenish. I don't want that to happen. I've had good luck with something like Varnish Plus, but specifically with this, all of that has been treated, and a lot of top coats, and when you start applying stuff over these treated metals, will change the color. I know for a fact, I have done testing on metals like this. I have sheets of testing and top coats around here, and it not only changes the color, it drains out the marbling that you get that's so cool here. It is what it is. It's variegated gold. It's going to patina more over time. You leave it as it is. Now, I have one last medallion. It's little. I could use my little bit of green. I've been pink, I've been gold, I've done a, sort of a blue variegated. We could do this with the green silver that I had, and then we could put some other pretty mica powders in there. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because whether you're with me watching me do it or not, this size has a life, and so I want to make sure I keep it and use it while it's still good. And what did I do? There it is. There's my green, that kind of beautiful tealy green color. Now I'm going to apply this in another different way. I'm just going to take it up and plop a sheet on, because this is a very small medallion, and I'm going to tamp it in and see what happens. And it may look like a slice of cheese on a hamburger. I'm not sure. Probably a little bit. And I'm actually just going to do it with my fingers. My husband's peeking in the door and wondering where I am right now, but we are at the very end of the broadcast here, so thank you, honey. He's giving me a helping hand here. This is the color I'm using. I'm going to aim you down, right down here. And like I said, I'm going to take it and plop it on here like a slice of cheese. And I'm going to tamp it in. And whatever it grabs is whatever it grabs. Oh my gosh, look how pretty that is. Look how awesome that color is. Oh, I'm so in love. I'm going to take it and shove the skewings back up in here. Oh, that's so pretty, that greeny color. Well, we're getting close to St. Patrick's Day, so this is my St. Patrick's Day medallion. Let's see what colors I have up here. I have this color called dark green bronze. It is a mica powder. It is, and it's called, they actually call, I'm trying to think here, let me reach what it says on here. Yeah, it's actually supposed to be a pigment, but it's also, he sold it as a mica powder. So I'm going to take this, and it's really super dark green. And then maybe I'll take, let's see, I'll take something called New Antique Silver, which is almost graphite color. And we're going to throw my brushes. This is my life. I throw something around, I don't know where I put it. Oh, there it is, back behind me. I keep throwing things behind me so that I can keep you in front of me. I am definitely taking the smaller brush. I'm dipping in a little here. Oh, this is so pretty. It's light green and dark green. Truly, I'm making things up as I go because I figure experimenting is a big part of what we do as artists. And if you don't experiment, you're not learning. Sometimes I purposely pick color combinations that in no other point in my life would I ever pick. I'm not a big green person, but boy, am I liking this. So I've got a little bit of this on here, and I think I might actually have a place there that I missed some size. Like I said, you can't always see every spot. So I've done that. And then this new antique silver is really pretty. It's a graphite-y kind of gray. I'll take that. Ooh, I like the way that's grabbing. It's just a nice little bit of contrast. I'm really kind of shoving it in. This is the spot right here that I missed with the size. Tomorrow I might put a drop or two of size on here if I decide I like that. If not, I might leave it as it is because I have a couple other little spots. These detailed pieces like this can be hard. The size can run down into the crevices and pool. You can have it dry on high spots because it's thin. Okay, this is so small, it's actually going very quickly, and I put so much leaf on here. Now this new antique silver, it is actually a mica powder, so I can mix it into water-based stuff, I can put it on water-based stuff, I can top coat it with water-based. That's really nice. Now also remember, I put oil-based size on here. So I'm going to have issues if I just put plain water-based top coatings over. I'm going to have issues with it bonding because I'm trying to bond oil and water, and that's not always a happy bond. I can put oil over water, but you can't put water over oil easily. All right, I'm burnishing this down. Let me take that. Oh, look how pretty that is. Oh, look at it. Looks a little like a Thin Mint Girl Scout cookie. All right, everybody. I know I've kept you on. It's been a long Facebook Live, but there was a lot to show you, and I promised this to especially to Rima, and I'm so glad she's here. I will share this also on my Painted Furniture Fabulous and Fantastic page, and it will go on my YouTube. But I really appreciate those of you who stuck around and lived with me as I made mistakes and had successes, and really gorgeous reactions there. So one more time, this is the green colored silver leaf on the medallion with a little bit of antique silver and a little bit of dark green brushed in. We are here with nothing more than couple of sheets of variegated gold, composition gold leaf. Oh, I gotta reach. Lemon gold, which I believe was 22 karat real gold. It's just a different combination of metals, then a little more silver in it to make it this color. And big pink. My pink silver medallion with gold and with russet and with magenta on it. Oh, this is something I love to do. I would do this every day if I was allowed to. And I'm trying to get more people to allow me to do it every day. Thank you so much for tonight. I know it was a long one. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions? Of course, ooh, hitting things again. Thank God you guys don't get seasick. I'm so pleased you were here, and I appreciate your patience and your time as I did this. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't hesitate to ask questions, and I will as soon as I turn this off, save the video and download it, I'm going to sit down here before I go upstairs to my husband, who just kind of hinted like, honey, come on up. I will write all my resources that I was sharing with you. I will give you the name of the sizes. I'm not going to give you the name of the water-based size because it's only going to confuse you. It's something you don't want to use for this. I will give you the name of everything I used here on these medallions and where I got all of them. Okay? So everybody, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for spending the evening with me. Go be with your loved ones. Have a great night.